If you're looking for some awesome movies or TV shows featuring father and daughter relationship, you just click on the right video. Don't forget to subscribe, so you never miss out on discovering great movies and TV shows again. Number 1. Labrador. Director: Frederica Aspach. The young couple Stella and Oscar visit Nathan, Stella's father. He lives a lonely life, together with his Labrador on a deserted windy island. Stella is pregnant and is looking forward to the birth of her child, but Oscar still has doubts. When Oscar falls prey to Nathan's provocations and is bewildered by the relationship between father and daughter, an inevitable confrontation arises between the two men, with Stella caught in the middle. Number 2. Rhino Season. Director: Baman Gobadi. Sahel, a poet from the Shah era, and Meena, a daughter of a wealthy family, are in love with each other. Meena's driver is also in love with her. When the revolution breaks out, the driver becomes an important revolutionary, and with this power he locks up the couple. Sahel for 30 years and Meena for 10 years. When Meena is released after 10 years, she is told that Sahel has died. The driver asks her to stay with him and together they travel to Istanbul. When Sahel is released 20 years later, he starts a search for his old love. Number 3. Touchless. Director: Matej Klupacek. Jolana, 18 years old, lives with her mother and her stepfather Igor. Sadly, she's a victim of the never-ending abuse from her stepfather. In the meanwhile, she works in a bordello, being treated badly both by her clients and her boss Kleiner. She wants to break free from her stepfather and her work, but she doesn't know how. It remains unchanged until a man, Richard, shows up in her life. Number 4. Bastards. Director: Claire Denis. Marco Silvestri, captain of a container ship, rushes to Paris. His sister Sandra is desperate. Her husband has committed suicide, the family business is bankrupt, and her daughter is in a psychiatric institution. According to Sandra, it is all the fault of the powerful businessman Edouard Laporte. Determined to take revenge, Marco moves into the building where Raphael, Laporte's mistress, lives. But Marco is not prepared for Sandra's shameless and secret manipulations, and he has not expected to fall in love with Raphael. Number 5. That Lovely Girl. Director: Karen Yedaya. The film revolves around the relationship between a 60-year-old father and his 20s daughter. Living in a small apartment in Israel, the family faces the moral and political challenges of their relationship every day, while the young girl struggles with life in deep depression because she can't do anything about it since her father abused her. The film was included in the Uncertain Regard selection at the 2014 Cannes Film Festival. Number 6. Blue. Director: Charles Huddleston. A mysterious young man who suffers from the rare genetic disorder methemoglobinemia, which turns his skin blue, leaves his isolated mountain home and enters a small Appalachian town. Distrusted and feared by the townspeople he encounters, Blue's presence polarizes the community. He finds solace and friendship with Pearl, a young woman trapped in a romantic relationship with her alcoholic father while trying to protect her younger sisters and locate her missing brother. Number 7. Before the Rooster Crows. Director: Ari Manuel Cruz. Carmen's dream of moving to the city with her mother is shattered when her mother moves to the U.S. with her new husband. As a teenager, Carmen grows up in Barranquitas, a mountainous village in the center of Puerto Rico, together with her grandmother, a tough and conservative woman. The arrival of her father, who spent years in prison, reduces Carmen's sadness. The relationship with him, however, brings its own ambiguity and complexity. The girl must learn to live with the feeling of being abandoned on the one hand and the care on the other. Number 8. Mickey and the Bear. Director: Annabelle Atanasio. Mickey Peck, a headstrong young girl, does her best to keep her single father Hank on his feet. Struggling to fulfill the responsibilities imposed on her by her father, Mickey plans to go to college far from her hometown. Desperate for independence, Mickey dreams of living a life on her own terms. When the opportunity presents itself, she is forced to choose between her familial obligations and her personal life. Number 9. Julia's Secret. Director, Ernesto Aguilar. After many years, Julia returns to her childhood home, on the outskirts of a small town in the interior. It is there that as a child she suffered abuse from her recently deceased father. As the intention is to sell the house, Julia moves in with her girlfriend Anna for a few days, hoping to complete the real estate transaction. But living in that place again will force her to face her ghosts and darkest memories, which burst into the present in a much more real way than she could have imagined. Number 10. Girl in the Basement. Director, Elizabeth Rome. Sarah is a rebellious teenager, where she has constant clashes with her domineering father, who does not seem to have any intention of allowing her to have many freedoms. Things come to a head when she sneaks out at night with her boyfriend and returns the next day, having a strong argument with father, which causes Sarah to start making plans to move out of the house. However, a conversation about said move is overheard by father, who begins to prepare a soundproof bomb shelter in the basement, where he locks Sarah up, without her mother's knowledge, keeping her in inhumane conditions and unleashing a terrible nightmare.